Hello everyone, welcome to Super Coaching UPSC by Textbook. You all might have heard about rivers, right? We see that, but have you ever heard about atmospheric rivers? Rivers in the atmosphere? Yes, that's what the topic we'll be discussing today, right? So this is an atmospheric river. This was in news recently with respect to California, a region in America, receiving around significant amount of rainfall through atmospheric rivers. Now, first question, what do you mean by a atmospheric river? So, atmospheric river is nothing but a large volume of, it is nothing but, it's a large, narrow, it is a large, narrow body of moisture which is carried in the atmosphere, whereby you will be seeing that that is having an impact. So it is like a river, just like a river on the land. It is like a river in the sky where it carries moisture, usually covering a long areas, narrow areas, just like a river, and yielding precipitation across the land. Usually, such kind of atmospheric rivers originate from the oceans where there is abundant moisture, and such example we have is the Pacific Ocean. That too usually from which part? It is from the tropical part. So that is what we call it as an atmospheric river. Long, narrow or large, narrow body of moisture yielding precipitation across the land like a river in the sky. You can see this. You can see here. This is America. You can see a body of moisture yielding towards California and giving around significant rainfall. You can see a band of moisture here. You can see this one coming towards USA and giving around significant rainfall. So that is the thing. So it is like almost like, how does it works? It is a simple concept. Moisture is being dragged from the ocean and that moisture is being providing rainfall on the land. It is almost like, imagine the volume of water like 2 times of the how much water is actually flowing from the Amazon basin, from the Amazon river into the Atlantic Ocean. So at the mouth of the Amazon, you do have a volume of water which will be dumping into the Atlantic Sea. Imagine that twice of that volume. That could be one atmospheric river. So how does it work? See, atmospheric rivers are approximately 250 to 375 miles wide on average, right? 250 to 375 miles wide, right? And they travel. They move the weather with respect and present somewhere on earth at any given time. We have seen that on an average about 30 to 50% of annual precipitation, 30 to 50% of the annual precipitation on the west coast occurs in just a few atmospheric river events and contributes to the water supply and flooding risk. So that's the thing. If you wanted to go by the exact technical definitions, atmospheric river is a flowing column of condensed water vapor in the atmosphere responsible for producing significant levels of rain and snow. Nothing but volume of water vapor in the atmosphere brought forward from the tropical regions and usually dumping in the regions of like America. Remember, these are not jet streams. The jet streams are upper faster currents which are much more higher than the atmospheric rivers. Jet streams are much more higher, whereas atmospheric rivers are nearest to the surface, which might be part of a low level jet stream. That's what you can think so, right? Now you see what happens. Okay, this is the, you find this is the ocean, right? Now what is happening? a body of moisture is coming from the ocean into the land, right? This is an atmospheric river coming into the land. On the landmass, you have around various topographical features, right? The obstruction, so the mountains. Now, what happens when this atmospheric river hits these mountains? What will happen? Remember the concept of orographic rainfall? Orographic rainfall. So, what is orographic rainfall? When you have a mountain, you find the atmospheric river providing all its atmospheric river providing the moisture. Now, as it cools down, atmospheric river cools down. Now, you know that it is carrying moisture, no? What is happening to that moisture? That moisture is now cooling down, and then that is creating the forms of orographic rainfall. So, condensation begins. That will lead to the process of condensation and eventually rainfall. Now, what happens? Imagine that it is the winter season. What will happen to the precipitation? If it is winter, it could be snowfall. Right. So that is the thing about atmospheric rivers. Then, what is the significance of this? What is the significance of this? Significance. Why we are supposed to learn? Because it can help in replenishing the water resources. In fact, almost 50% of rainfall in western coast of USA is dependent on atmospheric rivers, right? It is dependent, it can has a significant impact on floods, significant impact on rainfall, right? It can have snowfall, and that can also have an impact on landslides. Now, the impact is almost like a rainfall. Imagine how rainfall can have an impact in our monsoons. All such kind of things can be happening here. Now, with this, what is the way forward? Way forward is very simple. Monitor such events. We have to monitor such events because in the era of climate change, we are in the era of what? Climate change. During the climate change, what happens during the era of climate change? We find intensities and frequency, right? Extreme frequencies, extreme intensities. Extreme events are the norm, and because of that, you find such kind of things. So the idea is very simple. In the era of climate change, when extremes are the norm, you have to monitor these things so that ultimately we are learning about these weather systems which can have a cascading impact. Does every atmospheric river will have a cascading impact? Simple. Just like does every rainfall will have a cascading impact on nature? Not necessarily. Some are weaker, which will just give an amount of rainfall. Some are decent enough to replenish. Some are so high that they can cause floods. Just like any other rainfall moisture system, you do find atmospheric rivers are average, good, weaker, very good. That means atmospheric rivers are very good means what? It means floods, right? So they are weaker, not that much amount of rainfall. That is about atmospheric rivers. Hope you all have understood this, and then you can answer this question. What do you mean by this atmospheric rivers? See, there is a question I have given you here. These are relatively long, narrow regions in the atmosphere like rivers in the sky that transport most of the water vapor. Yes, yes. They can contribute to flooding. Yes. Landslides. Yes. Snowstorms. Yes. Depending on what? Geographical location and season. Winter, location tropical, temperate. So they bring moisture from the tropical towards the temperate regions. That is about atmospheric rivers. And what is the question they are asking? Incorrect answer here. So both are correct. So answer would be what? D. None of the above. Hope you all have understood a very interesting topic by name atmospheric rivers, right? If you have any further doubts, you can get into the Telegram channel. You can ask any doubt. You can ask your any doubt you have associated with this topic or in general about UPSC preparation, right? Until we meet next time, thank you all of you. Jai Hind. Thank you.